Hello and welcome to the Paint Couture YouTube channel. I'm Erin, owner of the Fox's Den, and today I'm going to show you guys how I did this blended paint finish with a transfer on this cute little end table. So this is where we started off. There were some pieces missing, so I did use some wood filler, filled them in, gave it a good sand. You can see in between the drawers and on this end the veneer needed to be removed and it was very uneven, so I wood filled those as well, sanded it down. And because I sanded and all the finish came off, this piece became a bleeder. So I didn't want any of that coming through on my paint. So I am using the Premium Plus 2-in-1 primer in white. I'm just going to apply it all over. This primer is really smooth. It has a really great self-leveling to it, so it comes out super duper flat. I just use a 2-inch synthetic brush from Paint Couture to lay down all of my primer, and it really makes it so super smooth. So I let that first coat dry, and you can see we still have quite a bit of yellow coming through your first coat of primer. That's okay, that's perfectly normal. So I did come back and put a second coat. Unfortunately, this piece was a super bleeder, so I let my second coat sit overnight, which I should have done with the first coat, and I didn't. So I came back in and gave it a third coat, and then we had the coverage we needed. So make sure that you leave ample time to let your primer do its job. Now I'm just going to go in and finish giving the drawers another coat. I do go back, obviously, and get the little shelf at the bottom. So everything ended up with good coats of primer. Now for our blend, we're using Farmhouse Linen, Duck Egg, and Dark Sea. So those first two colors are from the Chalk Style line, and Dark Sea is from the Acrylic Mineral line, but these blend so well together. So when I'm doing a 3-color blend, I like to put in my darker outside color first. This is personal preference. I know a lot of people, when they're doing a blend, they kind of do it a little blockier on their first coat, but personally I just blend it in. So I'm going to add Dark Sea all around the edges. I was going to do it in the middle, but I end up filling that in and changing my mind. So once I have my darker color all around the side, I am coming in with a different brush, another synthetic brush, and the color Duck Egg. So I'm just going to apply that right in the middle. And see here, I decided I didn't want the dark in the middle after all, so I just kind of smear it away. And then I'm going to use a big blending brush and a little bit of water in a misting bottle to just start smoothing this paint out. And I like to go up and down and side to side just to get a nice, beautiful, smooth blend. And like I said, this is the first coat, but I like a pretty blended first coat. I find I have to work less on the second coat to make it look smooth. Now, because I want just a little bit of a lighter pop in the center, I'm coming in with the Farmhouse Linen, and I'm adding that right on top in the middle, and come back with my blending brush and just smooth all of that out. You can actually get that blending brush on the Paint Couture website, and it is from Renovare by Crys'Dawna. It is an excellent blending brush. So now I'm going to go down the legs using Dark Sea, and then I'll come back in with a little bit of my Duck Egg just right over top of it. I didn't even add more paint to the brush. It's just adding to help get that gradient from top to bottom. We're going to do the same thing on the side, dark around the edge, all around with the Dark Sea. I love that deep blue. It is so pretty. It's one of my favorite dark blues. Come in with the Duck Egg, add that in all through the middle, and then mist a little bit with a little bit of water in a misting bottle, and then blend back and forth, up and down, back and forth, up and down till you get a nice pretty blend. Same thing, added a little bit of Farmhouse Linen right in the middle. Gonna touch up these legs, make sure we have a nice blend from top to bottom. And just smooth those colors out. A little bit of ombre on those legs, you know. For the top, I'll be doing the same kind of process, the darker all around the outer edge with the Dark Sea, and then coming into the middle with the Duck Egg. You can see now we have so much better coverage with the primer after I let it sit before I did my next coat. So here I am coming in with the duck egg. Just filling in, get that whole middle. Mist it a little bit with your misting bottle. This is going to help your paint move along together. And there's that brush, my blending brush I like to use. The same thing, back and forth and across. Now that is just the first coat of blend. I did want a little bit extra dark on the edges. It wasn't quite dark enough still for me. I added a little bit too much of the duck egg. So I just went back and added a little bit more dark sea. Pretty easy fix. And then a little bit of Farmhouse linen in the middle, just like the rest. And I do like having my first coat, like I said, already blended. When I come back to do the second coat of blend, it's just going to be a really seamless process. So here's the second coat of blend. This is how this is going to go. It's going to kind of deepen everything up. It's going to make it more finished. So we are going around with the dark sea. It's the exact same process the second go round. Duck egg in the middle and the blending brush. Missed it a little bit, don't forget that. And then go back and forth and up and down and smooth out your blend. This is really the easiest way to get that nice burst of a blend for me. This is my favorite process. Add a little bit of white there right in the middle, that Farmhouse linen. And you can do these kind of blends, of course, with any color trio. Smooth them out. Get out any little oopsies in your paint and just smooth that nice pretty blend. Going back to do my second coat on the legs. Dark sea at the bottom and a little bit of duck egg right there in the middle and blend it out. So here we are so far with the blend. I'm super happy with it. I love a blue blend. So we're going to come in with the transfer. I'm using this beautiful floral transfer. I've cut out so I have as little to mess with around as possible. You just stick it on and then you're going to use the little stick that comes with your transfers and burnish. So I kind of like to give it a good stick down, go all over it, and then I'll start pulling off the backing. So as you pull off the backing, you just burnish as you go. I like to start with the little tiny tips and ends and try to get all those before I focus on the center, especially going from the direction at which I'm going to pull. So if I'm going to pull that plastic from, in this one, like left to right, I'm going to just start, and I'm even going to go up and get up at the top some of those little pieces. Just pull and burnish, pull and burnish. A lot of times when I get to the middle, if I have a lot of plastic overhang, I do cut it because it's easier than messing with all of that extra cover. So I'll just cut it off and keep burnishing. So there we go, right up there at the top. Almost finished. Getting all those little leaves and stems, just make sure to pay extra careful attention to any of those places where you have the tiny pieces. And you may be wondering, well, these are drawers. What are you going to do? Well, what we're going to do next, you're going to grab a box cutter. So all you do is grab a box cutter and you just really gently slide it in between your drawers where they connect. Super easy. My favorite way to do it. It just cuts them right away. And I did decide to add another little piece up here at the top. Oh, and burnish it down with your fingers. Make sure you rub it all down. Make sure everything adheres really, really well. I decided it was missing something right there. So we're going to attach that, burnish it, and then do the same thing where we have to cut with the box cutter. Honestly, the easiest way for the drawers. So just burnish, 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 and pull. And there we go. Cut it, and voila. It's done. So on the sides, I'm adding some more. I originally thought I was going to leave the sides blank, but it was just a little too boring. So I had a bunch of little extra pieces of this transfer. So I'm just going to add a bunch of pieces and things together to get it how I want. So we're going to attach that right there. Sorry about my head. and just press it down with your hand and then come back with your burnishing tool, pull back the plastic and burnish away. If you haven't tried a transfer yet, you definitely should. The first time I used one, I was super nervous, but it's not bad at all. So there we go. I accidentally pulled off a little piece, so I'm reattaching that. Now, if you look at this side, you see how we have an issue. I'm taking satin clear coat. This paint, unfortunately, my wood filler absorbed way too much of the paint. So it was like the wood filler was bleeding through. So I'm coming in with Paint Couture's satin clear coat, and I gave it a coat of that, let it dry, and now I'm going to reblend. Once I do this blend over it, it's completely gone. So adding that satin clear coat just gives that extra bit of barrier that it needed for that wood filler to not show through. I used a different brand of wood filler than I normally do, and I did not expect that to happen. But here we are, and that's how I fixed it. You can even, whenever you use wood filler, just instantly do a clear coat over it to help keep that from happening. But I don't know, I didn't even think about it for this one. So I had to fix my mistake. So there we go. Now that side is blended, and I'm going to add some of the transfer on that side. Very simple process. I like how these flowers look over top of the blue. So there it is. Now that the paint and the transfer is all done, because you do have to blend with the drawers in, I'm going to come with a little bit of sandpaper and really smooth out these edges of the drawers to make sure everything closes well, everything goes back in how it should be. I'm going to add my hardware. I am changing these. These originally came with some little tiny knobs, but I'm adding a little bit bigger knob that has a ceramic spot in the middle of them. I think they're a really pretty addition to this end table. Same thing, we're just going to give all the edges of the drawers a nice sand. Now you can paint the edges in a metallic to match your hardware. You can do a little bit of a furniture polish, something that you do on the inside of your drawers to freshen them up. You can do those on those edges. It'll help make sure that it's always flowing smoothly. So there's the finished piece. Here's what it looks like all together. I hope you guys have enjoyed this process, learning how to do the blend, how to do the transfer. I enjoyed doing it. It's been a little while since I got to do a really pretty blue blend with a transfer, but it's one of my all-time favorites. So try out some of these tips and tricks. Let us know how you like it. Make sure you leave any questions in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe to get all of Paint Couture's amazing tutorials in the future. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.